Dear Sir, Madam, my name is Stanislav from Alexandru Ancuza University of Iași, and today I will present a study about the implementing European financing programs in schools, a study performed together with Professor Irina Teodora MANOLESCU from Alexandru Ancuza University of Iași and Professor Gabriela Conea from Iași County School Inspectorate. Through this study, we aim to identify the particularities and barriers in the implementation of European-funded projects during the 2007-2020 period in order to improve the access to available funding for the future and to increase their impact. First of all, I will briefly present the most relevant funding programs for educational institutions. After, I will highlight the particularities and barriers in the implementation of European-funded projects during the 2007-2020 period. And at the end of the presentation, I will bring few recommendations in order to optimize the access to available funding for the future. For the analyzed period, the educational institutions from Romania had various sources of financing the projects, among which we can mention those with national financing, European and non-European financing. Within the category of national funds, we can include funding from the Ministry of Education and Research, financing from National Investment Company, and financing provided by the local public authorities. Within the category of community funds, we can include European Structural and Investment Funds, and financing from the European Commission, like Lifelong Learning Program, Euroscola, or Erasmus+. Within the category of financing from non-EU funds, we can include the EEA and Norway grants, Romanian Secondary Educational Project, Project for Rural Education, Early Education Reform Project, and Inclusive Early Education Project. In order to identify particularities and barriers in the implementation of funded projects in the period 2007 to 2020, we conducted a research among representatives from the Romanian educational system who have implemented or are implementing projects making use of two basic tools, a questionnaire applied on 101 persons and a focus group with 7 participants from 7 counties of Romania. The questionnaire, based on 22 questions, was applied online among 101 subjects from Iași County, as well as 8 other counties: Constanța, Dolj, Hunedoara, Prahova, Maramureș, Timișoara, Vâlcea, and Vaslui, and of course the capital Bucharest. Analyzing the structure of the sample, we can observe that respondents come from various types of educational institutions. 24 from gymnasium schools, 17 from vet schools, 14 from high schools, 7 from county school inspectorate, and even 1 from kindergartens and the university. More than 3/4 of those survived come from urban area, the rest being from the rural areas. Most have an experience in education between 18 and 28 years and held the position of project manager or other position within a project team. All of them implemented project financed from EU and non-EU funds, mostly Erasmus, 41 persons, Comenius and Leonardo da Vinci, part of Lifelong Learning Program, and of course Postdru. Analyzing the results of the questionnaire, we can emphasize that the respondents faced various problems, both during the project elaboration stage, drafting the application, as well as during the implementation and during the sustainability stage. Only 5% of the respondents say that they did not face problems during the project elaboration stage. The others mentioning among the problems lack of time, more than 69%, low degree of employee involvement, more than 30%, or lack of experience in filling or drafting specific sections of the form, 25%. The problems faced during the project implementation stage were both internal and external. 28 respondents claimed that there were no internal problems, but 73 respondents, or 72.27%, exposed a number of issues, of which predominate lack of time, the problems related to supplementing the hours during the mobility, or language barriers. At the same time, 67 responses showed that no external problems were identified. However, there were also projects affected by motivation of the target group to remain involved throughout the project, low budget, or unreliable and inconsistent project partners. Most of them emphasize the difficulty of ensuring the sustainability of the project, the main obstacles being a lack of funding for the future activities, lack of time to continue activities, low degree of employee involvement, or even breakup of the project team. The second applied method is a focus group that took place in 2 sessions of 70 minutes each. The first on 11th of April 2017 in Constanța, and the second on 27th of April 2018 in Botoșani. The subjects were 7 school inspectors from 7 counties: Suceava, Maramureș, Bacău, Vaslui, Vâlcea, Timiș, and Constanța. Inspectors selected according to their experience, between 5 and 15 years of activity. The strong points that the focus group has highlighted are the following. In the county of origin of each participant, in the period 2007-2017, most of the exposed programs were implemented, weaker presence being for cross-border projects. Projects with European funding for education were very well promoted at all stages by the National Agency for the Community Programs in the field of education and vocational training, by the County School Inspectorate, and by the European Parliament Information Office in Romania. The interest of the schools in accessing specific European funds is growing. The examples of good practice and the success of other schools boost the activity in schools without such experiences. The organizational culture of the institution where projects are implemented is undergoing extensive positive transformations. Students and teachers have a high degree of motivation due to the results, and the school has credibility in attracting funds and developing through the projects. Also, respondents emphasize the weaknesses of the project implementation. The drafting of the funding application, and this is caused by the lack of experience in filling, drafting specific sections of the form, or simply a low degree of employee involvement. Problematic situations were also identified during the implementation period, these being caused by the both internal and external factors, like problems related to project team or deadlines. A special type of problem identified was that of reporting. The management team falls apart or break up by resignation, retirement, moving to another institution or country, or even death, and there are difficulties in recovering documents, which leads to the difficulty or even impossibility of final reporting. And finally, ensuring the sustainability of the projects. Respondents list several suggestions for improving. Encouraging teachers to participate in training sessions on project management, and writing, preparing funding applications. A rational use of school budgets allocated to education for language courses and project management. Intensification of activities for disseminating the results of implemented projects. And active participation of teachers in promoting project results, in order to offer examples of good practice to increase motivation and inspiration. The attractions of external funds in schools is met by a series of impediments, which determines a low degree of their absorption. Among these, we can mention lack of information of potential beneficiaries, discipline, lack of motivation in certain communities, difficulties in drafting applications, language barriers, non-functional project teams, reduced effort funding obtained ratio, and problems related to ensuring the sustainability. The recommendations we can make in view of a better absorption of external funds in schools are the following. Searching for and identifying the appropriate source of funding to solve a certain problem. Encouraging the spirit of initiative in school among teachers and students. Promoting innovative examples. Demolishing the myths like projects are hard or they don't change anything. And the project teams must be created in accordance with clear and transparent criteria based only on professionalism. Thank you.